Okay. I think I've got it recording. So good morning again. I'm so glad you are attending this session. Do not hesitate to ask questions. I have served as president of my local club, my county council, and now as the Central Region president. I hope I will provide you with a review, some tips and pointers, and some information for consideration. We will be emailing you a copy of this PowerPoint so you can have for review and further study, as well as it's being recorded so you can go on the website and watch again if you wish. If you want to include your name and email in the chat for us, that'll help make certain that we get it to you. The duties and responsibilities are to preside at all county meetings, county council meetings, and executive board meetings, to serve as the official representative of your FCE county council or club, to appoint committee chairpersons needed to carry on business of your county FCE organization with the approval of the county council executive board. Ex officio members of all committees, but not the nominating committee. And this is one that I was not aware of when I first served as the county council president, but I can see that it's probably helpful for the president not to be involved on this committee. Another duty is to inform the membership in your county. You can do it yourself, or you can assign someone. You can use emails, newsletters, inform at the county council meetings or other county meetings, and with phone calls. Want to submit reports to the region or the TAFCE officers in a timely manner. If you're on here and you're a club president instead of a county council president, I think you can make the transition to the club as well. I think it works for both entities. So we talked a little bit about submitting the reports to the region or the TAFCE officers in a timely manner, and I've listed several reports and forms that I felt the county council president typically complete or be responsible for. You want to review all of the due dates. I was wondering if there were any questions that you had regarding these forms in the program planner, and if you'd like me to review any of these forms or go over any of them. It relates to the state project reports, Heart of FCE, the TAFCE State Project Award, which is a new form, character counts, and the credential forms are your voting forms. One is for the delegates for the Central Region Annual Meeting. The other one is for the TAFCE Conference. Are there any questions? don't want you to feel, don't hesitate to ask. I mean, okay. If you think of questions, let me know. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one thing I wanted to say about the Heart of FCE. I really would encourage you to submit one of your county members for this award. He or she must be a national member. It's made a difference in their community through their FCE work. It's a way for us to honor our FCE members who are workers and who don't normally serve in a leadership role. Not only do we have all of these forms that we need to submit ourselves as presidents, but it's also our duty to inform our officers and members to encourage all reports and registrations that they're responsible for are sent in a timely manner. In our meetings, it's important to follow parliamentary procedure. This really makes it easier to be fair and impartial and protect the rights of all members. It's our responsibility to notify and prepare vice presidents when you will be absent from a meeting. It's important to educate yourself about the FCE organization by reading the bylaws, really becoming familiar with the program planner, any handbooks or policies and procedures. Ask questions of the past president when you're not sure, and always feel free to contact myself as the region president or Wanda Brodell as the state president with questions. Provide leadership, motivation, and guidance to the county council. Being president is about facilitating goal setting. It's not about dictating or imposing your own ideas onto others. And prepare your successor for the office of president. It's helpful to have a president-elect that you can mentor and will observe you a year in advance. Be certain to pass on all material pertinent to that procedure, duty, and responsibilities of the office. It really helps your successor be successful. There's some benefits of using parliamentary procedure. Often meetings can become very chaotic when making group decisions. Everyone can be talking at once, trying to sway others to a different point of view. A basic knowledge of parliamentary procedure can make the group decision process more orderly and can make the meeting run smoother. When there is a meeting of 12 to 15 people, the meeting will need tighter, more formal, and more carefully developed control. The meeting must keep order, get the business done, and resolve any issues that may arise along the way. But most important, it must accomplish all these things in a way that is taking part in the process. So the benefits help us be able to focus on one item at a time. The decisions recognize the majority while protecting the rights of the minority. There is an equal opportunity for input among FCE members, and it really results in faster, more orderly meetings. The 12th edition of Robert's Rules of Order is the most current edition and a good reference. Decisions are made and formalized most commonly through the use of main motions. A motion brings business before the group as a way to formally request action. Here are the steps to follow. And first, you need to be recognized by the president or the chair. A member seeks permission to speak to initiate a motion by raising his or her hand or standing and saying, Mr. President or Madam President. When the president recognizes the member, that member has the floor and may speak. In our club, we often just raise our hands, and that's the way that we're recognized. To make the motion, a member should say, I move that. It is not correct to say, I make a motion that. A second, the motion must receive a second before any discussion begins. A member does not need to be recognized to second a motion. He or she just states, I second the motion, or even second. Obtaining a second indicates that at least two people favor discussing the motion. If there's no second, the motion is dropped. One thing to remember is if the motion comes out of the committee, it does not require a second. Because that committee was made up of more than one person, it was the consensus of the committee to bring that motion forward. So that motion will stand on its own. And there's discussion. 8. Once the motion has been moved and seconded, its qualities may be discussed. A member of the group must first be recognized by the president. A member gives the group reasons for or against the motion. It's appropriate for the president to ask for someone to speak who favors the motion, and then ask for someone who is against the motion to give equal time to both sides of the question. Discussion on a motion may end in 3 ways. Either no one has anything to say, a member says, I call for the question, which means that the member wants the motion brought to a vote, or the president decides that there's been adequate discussion. It's important for the president or secretary to then restate the motion and call for a vote. That really helps members understand what they're voting for. And then there's a vote. Some methods of voting include a voice vote, a show of hands, a roll call, a secret ballot, or even standing. The president should always call for both sides of the vote, even if the vote appears to be unanimous. And then the president announced the result of the vote. Either the motion passes or the motion fails. A majority is needed to pass a motion. A majority is more than half of the members present and voting. It is best practice for all motions involving financial disbursement from the Treasury to have a countable vote, either by raising hands, secret ballot, or standing. And I did not know this, but it's good practice for, if it's regarding a financial disbursement, to pass with a 2/3 majority. And I did not realize that one. Something I learned as I was researching this. There's 4 commonly used motions: referring items to a committee, laying discussion on the table, or removing discussion on the table. That's also referred to as tabling a motion, disbursement of funds, and adjournment. We're going to talk a little bit about each one of these. Referring to a committee. During discussion of a motion, it may become evident that more information is needed, or that there are details that must be worked out before voting. In these cases, the motion may be referred to a committee. It is not proper just to say, I move to refer the motion to a committee, which I thought was okay. The motion to refer to a committee should include the name of a standing committee or how many committee members and how they are to be selected. The motion should also include when the committee is to report back, if they have the power to act, or if the club must vote on their recommendation. During the discussion of a motion, a member is recognized by the president. For example, I move to refer the motion, and then repeats the motion, to a committee of 5 FCE members, 1 from each club, to report back at the next county council meeting with the council to vote on their recommendation. This initially sounds perhaps too complicated for our county council or our club meetings, and perhaps we don't need to have absolutely all the components in the motion, but choose the most important parts. When I actually tried to write the motion, it was really easier than I imagined. I would try to include as many components as possible. They gave a tip. Giving a committee the power to act means the committee makes the final decision without the club voting or without the county council voting, and this method should be used sparingly. That's giving a lot of power to a few number of people. A second is required when you refer to a committee. The discussion follows, but it's only on the part of referring to the committee, not the original motion. When it's time to vote, the president conducts a vote to determine if the motion is referred to a committee as specified in the motion. Majority is needed. If the motion to refer to a committee passes, the president then sets up the committee as specified in the motion. If the motion to refer to a committee does not pass, then the discussion on the original motion continues. A tip: generally, a committee meets and reports back at the next regular meeting. Another motion and vote is required to accept or reject the committee's recommendation. Another motion is either to lay on the table, take from the table. There may be a time when a decision on a motion may need to be delayed. Perhaps there's not enough information to make a decision. The procedure to do this is called laying on the table, which delays a decision until another time. During discussion of a motion, a member is recognized by the president and says, I move to lay the motion on the table, or I wish to table the motion. Once again, a second is required. There is no discussion permitted. The group proceeds directly to vote whether to table the motion or not. A majority is needed. To bring back the motion so that it can be discussed and acted upon is called taking from the table. While in old business, a member says, I move to take from the table the specific motion's name. A second is required. There is no discussion permitted. The group proceeds to vote whether to bring the motion from the table or not. A majority is needed. Once a motion has been brought back from the table, it is the next item of business. And a tip: generally, a tabled motion comes back for consideration at the next regular meeting. It's important that we do not use this motion table as a way to kill motion. Adjournment is the term used to end a meeting, and this is probably the motion that we're most commonly used to. To adjourn a meeting, a member is recognized by the president and says, "I move that we adjourn." Once again, a second is required. There is no discussion permitted. The group proceeds to vote whether to end the meeting or not, and a majority is needed. Note, a motion to adjourn can be given at any time during a meeting, but it should not be misused by club members to adjourn prematurely when there is important business yet to be addressed. Okay, then there are amendments, and as a president, you get kind of scared when you get an amendment. There may be times when members of the group want to change the motion after it has been moved and seconded and is being discussed. This is called an amendment. An amendment generally strikes out, adds, or substitutes words in the main motion. And here's how to amend a motion. A member is recognized by the president to speak and then says, "I move to amend the motion by," says how. A second to this amendment is required. Then discussion follows, but if the discussion is only on the amendment, not the original motion. When it is time to vote, the president conducts a vote to determine if the amendment passes, and a majority vote is needed. If the amendment passes, discussion follows on the motion as amended. After discussion, a vote is taken on the original motion as amended, and a majority vote is needed. If the amendment does not pass, discussion on the original motion continues. After discussion, a vote is taken on the motion. A majority vote is needed. It is recommended that only one amendment be permitted per motion. And I love that. It gets really complicated when you have two amendments. For a less formal meeting, such as your club or or even the county council, it may be best to introduce complicated ideas by discussion first before the motion is made. This eliminates the need for most amendments. Besides requesting points, or besides motions, there are certain situations where it's permissible to state a point during the meeting where the chairperson needs to handle a situation right away. Board members can declare a point of order, a point of information, a point of inquiry, or a point of personal privilege. A point of order is drawing attention to a breach of rules, improper procedure, breaching of established practices. A point of information is when a member may need to bring up an additional point or additional information in the form of a non-debatable statement so that the other members can make fully informed votes. You may need to know the balance in the treasury or a designated fund balance. A point of inquiry is asked for clarification in a report to make better voting decisions. So this would be like asking a question about the motion. A point of personal privilege. Any member may use a point of personal privilege to address physical comfort of the setting, such as temperature or noise. Members may also use it to address the accuracy of published reports or the accuracy of a member's conduct. Let's talk a little bit about agenda development. There's 3 different ways to develop the agenda. It can be planned only by the president. It can be developed by the executive board, or designed with input, either written or verbal, from county council members. This is the most inclusive and encourages participation by all members. The president can send an email stating that he or she is in the process of developing the agenda and ask for items to be added to the agenda. I think this really helps so you're not surprised in a meeting by someone bringing something up. Here's a list of the sample agenda. A notice of a meeting must include the date, time, and location of the meeting. A sample agenda includes the call to order, roll call, officer reports, then committee reports, then old business, then new business, and then adjourn. This is really a good format to use in helping plan your agenda, and very helpful for me. Other items that I thought of that could also be added onto this agenda is you might have a thought for the day or a time for an inspiration. You might include the Pledge of Allegiance, reading of the FCE Creed, or you even may want to list upcoming dates on your agenda just to bring these important dates to everybody's attention. So, some tips for the president. Robert's Rules of Orders, which is also widely known as parliamentary procedure, was developed to ensure that meetings are fair, efficient, democratic, and orderly. A skilled chairperson allows all members to voice their opinions in an orderly manner so that everyone in the meeting can hear and be heard. The following tips and reminders will help chairpersons to run a successful and productive meeting without being run over or running over others. So follow the agenda to keep the group moving towards its goals. Let the group do its own work. Don't overcommand. For example, the president must not be too quick to limit debate or discussion. Allow the members to determine if it's the time to vote or move to the next item of discussion. Control the flow of the meeting by recognizing members who ask to speak. Let all members speak once before allowing anyone to speak a second time. As president, we must work to make certain one member does not dominate the meeting. When discussion gets off track, gently guide the group back to the agenda. Model courtesy and respect and insist that others do the same. Help to develop the board's skills in parliamentary procedure by properly using motions and points of order. Give each speaker your undivided attention. Keep an emotional pulse on the discussions and allow a consensus to have the final authority of the group. It's really helpful in our meetings that we're welcoming, and this means that the meeting starts and ends on time. Be punctual, efficient, and keep the meeting moving. Be sure to welcome your guests and introduce them. Hospitality is really important. Be sure to thoroughly explain your programs and activities. Be explicit and explain to ensure that everyone understands. It's helpful if we don't use acronyms. There's really a wide gap in understanding from long-standing members and new members. You need to make sure that that we explain so the new member feels welcome and feels a part. And be positive and be an encourager. The president and executive board must seek certain goals for the county council or club and keep those goals in mind as the organization progresses through the year. The president is responsible for helping to plan and lead the club to reach those goals. Remember to delegate. The president does not do it all. Monitor progress toward the goals. Coaching is essential and it helps team members recognize and manage their strengths and weaknesses. If there are weaknesses or problems, the 4 steps to resolution are: agree that a problem exists. You can't solve a problem until you and the team member agree there is a problem. Discuss solutions. You and the team member should outline possible solutions to the problem. Agree on an action. Explain what behavior is necessary to produce the desired result and develop a timetable for carrying it out. And follow up. Check periodically to see that the member is acting according to the agreement. It is important to recognize achievement. Be genuine and sincere. Be timely. Try to recognize the individual as soon as you can after the contribution or accomplishment. Be specific and write written or email thank yous as well as a verbal feedback. Give the action the recognition it deserves. Make sure the amount and time of recognition is appropriate for the behavior recognized, and personalize it if you can. Recognize that different people are motivated by different things and appreciate different things. Some people appreciate being recognized publicly, but others may become embarrassed. Then I wanted to talk a little bit about delegation. If a county council or club is to be successful, the president must divide the responsibility of leadership among fellow officers and club members. The use of delegated power is the only way to cope with large amounts of work in an efficient manner. Prioritize what needs to be done. Look at your overall workload and then identify tasks that can be delegated. Match the requirement with who is best suited. Match the requirement of each responsibility with who is available and what they can handle. Don't give away just the jobs you do not want to do. Assign responsibility. Clearly explain what the individual would be responsible for and what your expectations are, so he or she can decide whether to accept or decline the responsibility. Set limits while allowing flexibility. Empower the individual to make the decisions necessary to achieve results and ensure he or she has the tools and resources required to complete the work. Whenever possible, give those who are responsible for completing assignments a voice in the decision-making. Establish milestones, timelines, and ways to report progress to lay the groundwork for a successful project and establish a solid foundation for accountability. And when giving an assignment, most responsible people do not appreciate someone looking over their shoulder or taking back something that's been delegated to them in an assignment. Good leaders foster leadership in others by empowering them to be successful and allowing them to make mistakes. Make sure you guide while offering assistance. Let go when appropriate. To be an effective president, you know where your time goes. You manage your time. Important to identify and eliminate irrelevant things that no one will really miss if they go undone. Decide what you can delegate to someone else. And spelling out time wasters such as meaningless meetings and unnecessary communication and try to eliminate them. Effective council or club presidents focus on outward contribution. They concentrate on results rather than the tasks themselves. Look up from your work and outward towards your goals. Prepare for the future and build for results. Effective club presidents build on the strengths, their own and those of others. They acknowledge and accept the best in others without being threatened. They help others grow by giving them opportunities and responsibilities. Remember to feed opportunities and starve the problems. Effective county council and club presidents concentrate on the few major areas where superior performance will produce the most outstanding results. So stick to your priorities. And a tip is being efficient is the least amount done to get the results. And I just want to encourage you to develop a system of organization. This will be great help to you. You can see all of the really wonderful reasons to be organized. It's a lack of organization causes endless inefficiencies in your day, which needlessly depletes your energy and makes you waste part of your time. And your time is your most valuable asset. Being organized is not a one-time event. It is a state that requires a sustained effort. And I've listed a few of the resources that I got this information from. I'd love to have your questions. If you'll unmute yourself and we can discuss. Any questions? Anybody want to share? Like
Mary
Alice, can you share
Mary
a
Alice,
success?
you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Anybody want to share a success?
Mary Alice, you did a good job.
Thank you. Okay. Well, if you don't, I just love seeing your faces. I couldn't see you when I was talking, so I was like, it's good to see your faces now. If you want to leave, you can. It'll be fine. Thank you, Janice. Hi, Barbara.
Bye.
Yeah. Like, that's stupid. Hey, here, have
Thank
some
you.
of the
Bye.
Uh-oh. Okay, let me see if I can get you back in there. Let's try again.
It just sent me to some room with just me and a lady's ceiling. It was just the two of us there.
Okay. Well, it may be bumping everybody back because I think the time may be over.
Oh, I'm not the only one that got bumped.
I'm not sure that you are.
Well, the president's group is through.
So I think it threw all of us back into here, but
Yes,
I
it
think
did.
we
If
just
you're
need to
through-
leave.
So if you're through, you're ready to leave. So you may just leave. Leave the meeting and that will be fine. Thank y'all so much for attending. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Carla,
Yes,
they were on the very last one. When you got,
after when they were on the schemes,
yeah, which was probably the one you wanted,
that's
right?
the one I wanted.
Yeah. But when I bumped in a minute ago, I think she was almost done. So I guess the only thing to tell you is it is being recorded and you will be on the website.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
What one did Carla want?
Scams and schemes.
Ah. I think I got mine recorded.
Yes, Ethel was recording yours.
Was she? Okay.
Yes, she was.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I asked her if she would, Mary Alice, since I knew I couldn't be in there and she was going there, just to double check, you know?
Okay. Well, I think I hit record too. Is that
Well,
okay?
Yes. Hey, the more the merrier. I'm fine with it.
I tried and I don't know how to retrieve it, but
It'll come up to your email that you got a recording.
okay.
Here's Carla. So I think we can just tell people they're coming back, that they can leave if they want to, if the meeting's over. Because I think this breakout thing is stressful.
Ann Wagner wants to know if the educational sessions
They are on the very last one.
they're on the last one.
And I can pop in again to see where they are, but I think they're right at the end.
And it's being recorded, right?
Yes, the leader lessons are on their very last one. Their last presenter. It's almost to the end.
Yeah, and it was recorded too, right?
Yes. Regina, the educational session is just almost over. So if you want to just hit the red button to end to leave the meeting, that is fine.
Okay, I thought I hit unmute. Thank you, Mary Alice. Everything was really nice.
Oh, you did a great job. I wanted to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Regina.
Good job.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Y'all have a nice day.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to hit stop recording, Mary Alice, and not record what you're saying now, that would be
Oh, okay. Where do I do?
just down at the bottom, I think.
Oh,